Soviets plan to beat Apollo 11 to the moon at the last minute? Yes, the USSR launched Luna 15, a 5-ton unmanned lunar probe on July 13, 1969, 3 days before Apollo 11 took off on its journey into immortality. Luna, the Russian mystery ship, was tracked all along its way to the moon by the 250-foot diameter radio telescope antenna at Jodrell Bank near Manchester, England. Under the direction of astronomer Bernard Lovell, Jodrell Bank followed Luna as it entered lunar orbit on July 19. He continued his vigil until Luna 15 disappeared, evidently having crashed into the moon on July 21, 1969, presumably while attempting to make a soft landing. There was fevered speculation in the Western press about the purpose of Luna 15 and some consternation that it might interfere with or even endanger Apollo 11. Although the Soviets never divulged any details of the flight program, they evidently hoped to touch down on the moon with a machine that would scoop up a lunar soil sample and launch it back to Earth. The flight of Luna 15 amounted to a desperate last-ditch throw of the dice to outdo the American manned moon landing program. Their Zond circumlunar vehicle was nowhere near ready to fly a human crew to the moon. In September 1968, Zond 5, a modified Soyuz spacecraft, had carried 2 turtles and some fruit flies on an epic trip around the moon, becoming the first vehicle ever recovered after a flight to the moon. However, Zond 5 failed to accurately fly its pre-planned trajectory. It flew too far above the moon for useful photography, and it re-entered Earth's atmosphere at an angle so steep that the G-forces would have killed human passengers. Furthermore, Russian rocket engineers, without the leadership of the recently deceased Sergei Korolev, were years behind in developing their ultimately failed N-1 manned moon landing launcher. N-1 had already suffered 2 catastrophic explosions of its first stage during secret test flights in February and July 1969. They had little to lose. Had Luna 15 succeeded, would it have stolen any thunder from Apollo 11? Hard to say, but I think probably not. Even before it took off, Apollo 11 had captivated the imagination of a worldwide audience. Millions of people everywhere around the world identified with and deeply empathized with the Apollo 11 crew as they progressed along their most daring and dangerous journey. Had Luna 15 succeeded, the best the Russians could have said would have been, "Why risk lives and spend such outlandish amounts of money when we can do the same thing safely and cheaply with our robotic probe?" It was, however, that very risk of life, that hazard in the face of the unknown, that made Apollo 11 such a gripping phenomenon. I think that the Russian rationale would have been lost in the compelling sensation of witnessing Neil Armstrong's one small step. On September 21, 1970, Luna 16, a virtual clone of Luna 15, took off from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, landed on the moon 3 days later, and successfully sent back to Earth a small, 3.6-ounce sample of lunar soil. This picture is an artist's rendering of Luna's ascent stage taking off from the moon with its precious cargo on board.